What's going on? Move the mouse here back in City Skylines, the town of Swampscott. It's better than it sounds. Let's play Season 9, Episode number 16. 17. 16 or 17. One of those two. It's definitely one of those. If 14, 15, 16, 17. It's 17. We've got a fire. We've got a lot of people waiting by the fire on the bus stop. I mentioned at the end of the last episode, at some point we're going to overhaul completely the transport system. One of the little things that we can do in the meantime is kind of take a look at the transport line usage, and the ones that are busier, maybe we could do some more vehicles on. So this one, did we already increase the vehicle count on that? We did. Let's try 200%. And then we'll go to 150 on everything else. Just so that there's less people waiting at the stops, hopefully. So that vehicle count modifier changes your budget, but it also it gets more buses out there on the lines. You can actually see car trips saved 74%. I don't know what the percent is there. As a percentage of the trips those people would have taken. My stomach's growling. I don't know if that comes through the microphone. Felt that one was loud enough. But we're saving car trips. That's the bottom line, right? We are helping traffic by giving people options to move around. However, in today's episode, we need to make a huge jump. We need to get 25,000 people in here before we can get airports, cargo airports, International Airport, Cargo Hub, Metropolitan Airport. That'll come at 85,000 along with our monuments. The Metropolitan Airport being a very large airport building that's part of the Sunset Harbor DLC. So to get us there, we're going to need a lot of people. We're going to need a lot more people. About half as many people. We're going to have to increase the size of the city about 50%. So quick scan. No major complaints over here. I did turn the water over here off right before I started recording. Got a couple deaths happening over here, which, you know, will happen. We moved a bunch of people in. But how is our death care coverage? That's the question. Pretty good over here, but not a lot. Can we sneak a second one in somewhere? Do we need a second one, you know, right here? Probably not. Get one in over here? What is that, a school? It won't let me overwrite that school. Will it let me tuck it in right next door? No, it won't. Be nice to get another cemetery over here, but as you can see, the problem is already gone away. We've got other problems, though. Get a little thumbnail in there. Autosave, lag. Thumbnail, click. We'll get the fire truck right out in front. There we go. So they should put that out. Where do we move people in? So I think one of the things I want to do is find a spot for a university, and I think it would be kind of cool to come down over here. We might rework this road system a little bit. We might eventually have this highway come through here, where this 4-lane road is, and hook into what will eventually be maybe our next big part of the city. I think what we could do is a bit of density over here. Obviously more density over here where the high-rise ban is turned off and where we have things like IT cluster. But I think we could do some more of that over here across the river, because this is a relatively flat space that we can work with. And maybe we can get some industry in here, right? By the train tracks, by the highway, where the noise is. May not be too bad, but we'll have to rework things like this into maybe some sort of cloverleaf or have some other bypass routes in order to do that. So in the meantime, where can we cram some people in? We could, I don't know how valuable this is going to be. Let's see how many people we have to move out to do something like this. If we wanted to connect these streets in the backside, we could come across like this, but we're going to move out 2 houses every time we do that. Right, every time we connect that. But we'll have a lot more houses that are available over here. They're going to be really close to the train tracks, though. I don't know how much that would bother them, but it might allow us to move a couple more people in. So let's move some people out. We'll connect all these residential back streets. And then let's get just a little bit of low density in there. We broke some of our zoning, so let's fix that. I didn't want to move in right next to here. I think we were going to fill this in with trees at some point. We'll get one more little section there. Maybe we could do this and this. And then we'll fill in the rest of that with trees. A little bit of a buffer and a barrier. Then again, if we don't have this real hard hedge line, we might end up moving these people out. Come to think of it. So really, we're moving people out more than we're moving people in. That's not what we want to do today. Let's do the same thing over here. We're going to move a couple houses out to get, hopefully, a couple more houses in. So we'll connect the residential streets here and here. We'll move these power lines, because that is wrecking our mojo there. And then we need that to connect power over here, right? So let's bring that this way, I guess. Can we get that parallel to the train tracks? And then right there, that works. Then we can get a couple more houses in. I don't know how many. Like, we moved some out. We're going to get some smaller ones moving in the end of the streets here. But we need the people. So, do we do high density? I backed this down from high density. This looks nice kind of spread out, but I don't know that it should be this spread out this close to this dense area. It's a good idea if it was someplace else. It doesn't make a lot of sense over here. So let's fill this zone in because we need the room to move people in. And this is how it works in real life, right? You might have plenty of space between you and the next neighborhood. Then a development comes in and moves a bunch of people in. So let's fill this in. We'll get some people coming into the city. It's not gonna get us to 25,000, but it's a small step in the correct direction. A couple little houses right there. And on the corners. So we'll fill all that in there. Maybe one little space of buffer on either side of the elementary school. We filled all that in. We could probably get another street in right here. Because the way these residential streets work, right? It's only affecting the residential area. You're not going to have a ton of traffic. You're not going to have any truck traffic, deliveries coming through here. So we can certainly afford to do this. Come on. Still got to hook up that mouse and keyboard. I tried when it initially came out. The free update that came along with Sunset Harbor does support mouse and keyboard on consoles. The control scheme is not mappable, and it's just different enough from the control scheme on PC to be incredibly frustrating. But if you're new to it and you've never played it on PC, I don't think it's a bad control scheme. I just think it's different enough that it makes it super confusing if you're used to certainly the default PC controls. So I guess let's let it play at 3 times speed. We'll hopefully get some people moved in there and there. We could probably get one more neighborhood in this way, but we'll have to move out at least a house to get a couple more houses in. So let's try one more street over here. I think if we go right there, will it only take out that one house? So that'll work. Get a couple more houses in there. That would be nice. I guess, you know, can't look a gift horse in the mouth. Let's take any size house we can get at this point. So, we've certainly got some room we could expand down here, but being so close to the train tracks and the highway makes more sense to either use this as buffer or it's over here, trash. Use this as buffer or some sort of industry, transport, whatever it might be. You know, we could always tuck a tram line in back here and try and get some people moving around. The tram might be kind of interesting. Do we fill this in? I think that makes sense to kind of fill in over here. So let's get some streets going over here. We'll get some more high density, high-rise band residential areas. Although we don't have the residential demand right now, unfortunately. We can do that. Let's do that as well. And I think we can connect this through. Let's see. Let's come out 11 if it'll let me. And we're not going to connect that. We're going to leave a bit of a spacer on this back block. Actually, since that's garbage, we'll not move people in too close. It's recycle. I don't think it's the worst. Are we really at that little pollution? Does the filter... The only thing I have that would be affecting this is the filter industrial waste policy is turned on, which reduces ground pollution from industrial buildings. Doesn't reduce it that much, apparently. But does it reduce what recycling plants do? Because I thought there was more pollution than that. What do I see over here? I saw a full cemetery. So we'll empty that the quick way. Collapse. And then we can come back in, rebuild that right away. Everybody's happy, and we got storage space now. Storage space, I'm sorry. We have final resting places for our citizens, where we store them. Okay. Do we have any... Have we put any crematories in? Crematory availability? None. So, you know what? I mean, we're gonna have a death wave at some point, right? Get a little extra coverage in here. Cram in where we can. We've got the budget for it, so we may as well. That's a clinic, so we can't overwrite that one. Just slap these in next to every cemetery that we can. And where's that last one? Alright, that one's going out. We think. Helicopters flying by. Again, making the city just look busier, right? You've got air traffic flying around now. Although, man, those helicopter paths, to have two helicopters flying that close together does not seem safe. I might actually, for realism, loop the entire line around and not have them taking both sides of that path. So if we look at those paths that we set up in the last one, where is it? It's all the way at the end. So helicopter paths, right? You're defining a path just like a ferry. Now, a ferry going kind of on both sides of this road really close together, not uncommon. They use pretty narrow shipping lanes sometimes. Certainly when you're dealing with, you know, little river passes like this. But the helicopters flying that close together does seem a little bit unrealistic, you know? I guess they are at different altitudes. Or at least those two are. I mean, the others were. It seems a little off to me. You shouldn't be kind of flying that close. Autosave lag. This one is a little far into the zone, but it looks like the helicopter's already on its way here to put it out. I was going to say it's a little far into the zone. I'm pretty sure that's going to spread. And that's now a third building. So here we go. Settle in. Get your popcorn. Get your marshmallows ready. Because we might have a serious problem here in our industry area. The trucks have arrived now. So they're going to put out those two buildings. It looks like the helicopter got the first one that ignited everything else. Alright, well, could have been worse. Definitely could have been worse. Demand-wise, I don't think we have a lot of space we can get zoning in. Let's look over here. We're going to tuck a residential pocket in up here by the highway. Those people aren't going to like living right next to commercial or the highway. But what can you do? Well, I guess one thing that we could do, and maybe we should think about this before we let too many people move in, I think we've got it unlocked, is the highway with sound barriers. So at least where we're kind of close to the population, like that maybe, we can provide a little bit of a noise buffer there. It's pretty cool to see this in action too. So like if you look at the noise from the highway, that's elevated, so it automatically kind of has those side barriers. You can't upgrade to that type because it's already technically has it. When you go above ground, get that Jersey barrier, which I guess acts as somewhat of a sound barrier. It's really more for safety. Though honestly, those are not bowed out enough. You're just going to scrape the side of your car. The way the Jersey barriers are designed, they're a little fatter at the bottom so that your tire hits it and not, you know, the entire side panel of your car. That just looks like you're in for a scraping. Okay, but anyways, before I hit play, let's look at info views and noise just to see this in action right here maybe. So like you can see where the noise spills out from the highway. If we play it on 3 times speed, there we go. It drops right away. So even though there's not a lot of traffic here, there's less noise now because of that barrier. So that might help us a little bit. You can see actually the commercial area is a way worse offender. So do we D-zone here and here? Maybe we do. Maybe that's park. Or not park, but at least trees. We could turn it into a park. But let's definitely provide some trees in here. And here, let's pause it. Because I'll show you the effect that this has also. This is another great one to do. So we'll mix and match some different trees in here before we really fill in the gaps. But I'm going to use the tree brush to kind of do a couple different things in here. Did not get many trees in that one. We'll have to go down to the smaller brush and tuck some individual trees in there. So we'll keep working our way through the list. Fill in space where we can, where we see, you know, kind of these big gaps. All right, so we'll do that, and then let's get a couple more of the large... There we go. Where they'll fit. These wild conifers just take up a ton of room. But I think they look really nice. They're one of my favorite trees in the game. The really large conifers. And it just makes you feel like, you know, this city was built up over what was previously forested area. And we've just left some of those trees and kind of let nature take hold of parts of the city. Or, you know, it had already taken hold. We're not removing it, basically. But having a bit of trees in here between the commercial and the residential, we already made some space, just leaving room for the trees, right? Hopefully I didn't let that play long enough where we can still see the noise effect. So let's see, that should reduce a little bit what spills at least from the top on the other side of the trees. I think. Hopefully we didn't miss it already. But it should provide a little bit of buffer. It does. I've seen it work. Let's come over here. And let's fill this in as tight as we can with a bunch of conifers, just to prove a point here. Now the view out the backside of these offices is not going to be very impressive. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some branches grown into the office at that point. But from an info views perspective and noise pollution, that should reduce some of this redness here coming over and spilling into these houses. You can say it backed it down ever so slightly. I don't even know if the quality on YouTube is enough to see that. We're still zoned there, aren't we? We are. So we don't want that because we want the trees there for buffer. So maybe we'll do that and that. D-zone just a little bit. Select. Maybe up to the trees. So it does a little bit. Right? It doesn't save us. You still want to space things out appropriately where possible. But this person and this person definitely. This might be where our noise complaints come from. This guy too. But you can do little things like that. The noise barriers in the highways do make a really, really big difference. So consider that if you've got any population living too close to your highways. Do we have people living on this side? We do. So we'll see how fast that fills up. What we need though We don't need that right now, right? Look at the demands in the bottom right. Very little residential demand, and that will be met for quite a while. I think. For long enough. We've still got spots they can move in over here into the low density. But maybe we can get some more office and commercial parks somewhere. So where can we kind of spin that off what we already have? Maybe more commercial down here? We're going to make this, you know, too heavily hit. I think we could definitely use this area. This is something that we were planning on in the first place. We've got residential there. So we'll go with the straight tool, and we want to provide our buffer for pedestrian paths, because look at all those pedestrians. Maybe we'll find some ways for them to cut through the neighborhoods and make it even faster. But if we do this... That's a little lumpy, huh? It's alright. So that'll let us get in a nice big pocket of commercial, and we don't have to do that far side. So we'll do this side and over here. A little bit of commercial space, and then why don't we bring this street through here just so that there's some more routes, especially for these people that live up that way. And we can probably delete that. We fix our zoning. And this should spread power a little bit easier. In fact, it already does. Okay, so we don't need those power lines there. That's a good thing. Got a little bit of room for commercial expansion. Where do we go for office? They're on their way. Are they on their way in time enough to not have the next building catch? Yes. Good, good. Okay, so we haven't seen this complaint in a while. This one here is not enough educated workers. And I'm gonna double check. But yes, not enough educated workers. What is their slots here? They've got 2 uneducated people employed out of 1 potential slot. 2 out of 2 workers. So they only have 2 worker slots, and both of them happen to be uneducated. Like, unless you fire one of them, I can't fix that for you. So, goodbye. See, problem solved. You just hit the bulldoze button and then confirm. That's how you get rid of those pop-ups. How you get rid of these pop-ups, making sure that you have enough cemetery coverage, and also don't move people in too fast. That creates death waves, creates it where the hearses can't get out and pick up the bodies fast enough. If you move a bunch of people in, they are all going to die at the same time. We can extend their life a bit with the elder care, which is a new addition to Sunset Harbor, and we've dropped, I think, at least 2 of those in. One of the big things that can help us is also a new addition under healthcare, and that is the child care center. One, it's got this huge effect bubble. Helps with happiness and increases the birth rate in the city. So where have we dropped these? We dropped in 1 in our original neighborhood, second neighborhood, 1 over here, but we don't have 1 over here, and we could kind of get it in this central block and cover most, or we could try and cram 2 in and get 1 here and 1 over there. I think we'll do that. Well, it's a new mechanic. Let's push it. Let's exploit it a little bit and see what it does. So we'll throw 1 there, which covers all of that area very, very nicely. So that happiness effect, children and teens, sick children and teens, 0, birth rate 227 per week. So we'll see if that changes. Where can we get this one where it's going to help the most people? Somewhere right around here. Let's do that. And then elder care. Average lifespan 77 years. It would have been nice. I should have looked at this before and see how those numbers change. But we have very few sick seniors. Lots of seniors. Climbing up steadily. Where can we get this big one in? So it's just too big to fit in that little slot right there. You know what? Maybe they'll complain about the noise, but it's better than nothing. It's better than no care. It's better than no assisted living. This is getting super busy, though. So we might have to look at Old Town policies and kind of where things line up, because we've got a bit of a split with all this traffic coming over here, all this traffic coming over here. We've got this roundabout bringing in all the traffic from the cargo is especially, actually that's probably what most of our truck is right now. Not enough workers. It looks like people are finally getting to work. Maybe they can take the helicopter there. Holy cow. All right. Hang on. Hang on. Transport views. Go into transport. Go into transport views. Air. We have one helicopter line with 6 vehicles, and look at the people waiting out there. How much can we crank this up to? 500%? Let's. Are we just gonna have a line of helicopters waiting to move people? Is it actually gonna catch up? And like, that can't be safe to have all those people waiting on the actual platform, feet away from a spinning blade like that. So let's see. Does that get? Whoa. Okay. Yeah. That's. All right. We may have gone a bit overboard. Or we're going to war. I don't know. One or the other. So maybe 500% was a bit of an overreaction. Hang on. Maybe let's let them all land once. Which is ridiculous. They're all lining up over here. Okay, that's way too many for a line. How can that even... I guess if the line's really long, they will eventually spread out. But that is insane, so... It is eating into our... Guys, that is not safe. That is definitely not safe helicopter protocol to land inside of each other. It does look like it's making a dent, right? But they're lining up for it almost as fast as we can get the helicopters in and out. Which is unfortunate. They're all coming from over there, too. Which is odd to me, because why wouldn't you just go that way? So many helicopters, and they're still taking off. Why? Is that really how many vehicles I asked for? Can we... Okay. Quick little time lapse here. I will be right back. Let's see if this actually makes a dent, and if it doesn't, then we're just going to back it down, because there's a balance between adding some life to the skies and just having the sun blacked out by helicopters. So let's give it a minute. We'll let some of those planes or helicopters rather come in and pick up some of these people. And yeah, let's see what happens here. So stay tuned for 1 minute. I'm gonna time lapse this. It doesn't look like we're making a dent, because like I said, they're lining up here as fast as we can carry them out. So a bunch of those helicopters just despawned, which leads me to believe there's going to be a bunch more flying here. They kind of hover in a holding pattern. Hang tight. Let's see what this does. I don't think it's going to help, but time will tell. Be right back. Alright, so it doesn't seem to be making too much of a dent. We've seen helicopters, or I've seen helicopters despawn multiple times. I don't know if you'll be able to make that out in the time lapse. If I spit it up too much, you may not even notice it, but the helicopters kind of hold here, hover in a holding pattern, and people are just lining up faster than we can get them out of there with the helicopters. Let's look at what that did to our lines. I don't feel like that's any greater than where we were at. 27 vehicles for 75 passengers. Like look at all the people lined up outside. That's either not accurately showing me what's going on here, or like, look at how many people are right there. How do we only have 72 passengers? 75 passengers? I guess that's transported last week. Maybe we'll see that jump up a bunch. I would expect a lot more than 75, considering every single one of these holds, what, 20? I think. Yeah, 20 and 20. How can, like, they're filling up they're just waiting because there's no room. And every helicopter that comes in is taking 20 people off. So how are we at 75? We should at least be at a multiple of 20. 84 passengers, okay. Alright, well, maybe it's when they complete their route. How is this lining up at the other stops? Is it spreading out at least a little bit? It does look like it spreads out a little bit, but it all is getting backed up over there where the initial stop is. Let's clear this out and we'll call it a day. We've got to get to so many things. But we were able to get the helicopters in today. Get a little bit of a look at one of the new features of Sunset Harbor. So pop-up wise, how are we doing? Nothing over here. The only thing over here is the fact that, yes, we've turned off our lake creation machine. And a couple abandoned buildings way down here. Huh. What's up with that? Just not enough traffic over here? Too hard to get to? Too many other businesses that are closer? Let's do this. What's our biggest demand right now is commercial. So let's do a commercial pocket. A little bit of a commercial pocket down here on the end. This guy's gonna hate that, but what can you do? I mean, I guess what we could do is after the lag from the autosave, let's clear this out. Maybe even 2 on the outside. And let's get a little park and plaza in here, because we haven't done enough of those. Little Paradox Plaza right there. Yeah, oh yeah, we definitely need to focus on leisure activities, huh? Does that park not count? That park does count, okay. It lit up a little bit. So maybe that's a focus for the next episode, is getting some parks and leisure and making people happy. Look at the army of helicopters. We got to turn that off. There's you can make it look busier, you can make it look ridiculous, and I think we've landed on ridiculous today. So either way, hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, likes, comments, and shares all help the channel a lot, and they're greatly appreciated. I say it all the time. You don't know how much it helps. Unless you're a creator, then you might know. It really helps other people find the content. And that helps the channel a ton. So like, comment, and share. Really appreciate it. Support creators that you like, whether that's me or other creators. Interact with the videos, and YouTube will show you and others more of that type of video. So subscribe if you're new and want to catch more of these. Hit the bell to get notifications so you never miss an update on this series or others. Follow me on Twitter and join the Discord if you want to get involved in the discussion. And if you'd like to support the channel, links to that and all those other things in the description down below. Stay tuned. We've got so much to do in Swampscott. It's better than it sounds. We've got to do university. We've got to do the airports once we finally unlock those. Of course, we'll do all the monuments. And we'll make this a real bustling city that hopefully is different enough from the last one. All right, I don't want to repeat what I do. I'm trying to bring you something a little bit different, stylistically or design-wise. Just, you know, change things up a bit. And stay tuned. We'll be switching things up in mid-June when summer hits, or winter, depending on where you are. But with the new season on the calendar, we'll have a new season of the Let's Play coming before you know it. But don't worry, we should get Swampscott in a really good spot before it comes to that. But with all that out of the way, from the town of Swampscott, it's better than it sounds. This is Move the Mouse, signing off.